So as you know, in my messages with you here on Sundays, I usually have one big idea, right, that I'm trying to encourage you with. One big thing that I'm trying to invite you to reflect on or be in conversation about, either with yourself or with others or with God. But today I actually have three big ideas that I'd like to invite you to be in reflection about and have conversation with and hopefully encourage you with. Before you get too nervous, that doesn't mean my sermon's going to be 3 times as long. But very simply, our scripture this morning, along with the whole story of Joseph that Pastor Debbie gave you a whole lot of, in Genesis chapters 37 through 50, those 14 chapters, makes me think about 3 very significant things. First, God simply does not cause or condone evil, but instead suffers right alongside us with the existence and presence of evil, and somehow mysteriously works within it to bring out and to bring about healing and reconciliation and new life. Let me say that one more time. God doesn't cause or condone evil, but works and suffers right along with us in the presence and existence of evil, and mysteriously works within it to bring about healing and reconciliation and new life. In this whole story of Joseph, we do remember that Joseph was the favored son of his father Jacob, who had 12 sons altogether. The scripture says that Joseph was a dreamer, that he was handsome, and he was very well built, and he seemed to be quite gifted. But you remember, to his brothers, Joseph was basically a tattletelling, cocky little brat, right? And, to their defense, how else should they react when Joseph one time came to them and told them that he had had a couple of dreams in which he could see them at some point in the future bowing down and worshiping at his feet? The image that is painted when you read the story of the relationship between Joseph and his brothers is that of Joseph being this little boy who's always running and hiding behind the coattails of his father with this you-know-what kind of an eating grin on his face, right? And peering out at his brothers and saying, nah, 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 I'm better than you are, right? And of course, as a result, as we know, the hatred and animosity grew within his brothers' hearts to the point where they threw him in this pit and sold him into slavery for 20 pieces of silver, and then told their father that he had been killed. And then, as if, as Pastor Debbie once again said, as if this evil that was perpetrated against him wasn't enough, fast forward to Egypt, where Joseph became the master of the house for Potiphar, who was a captain in Pharaoh's army, and whose wife basically framed him, falsely accusing him of sexual assault when she was the one who was trying to seduce him, resulting in Potiphar throwing him into prison for what turned out to be 2 years of his life. But then we remember, because Joseph accurately interpreted a couple of Pharaoh's dreams and proved himself to be smart and trustworthy, Pharaoh made him second in charge in all of Egypt, just below himself, and put him in charge of all of the storehouses of grain there in Egypt, so that everybody in Egypt and everybody everywhere else, for that matter, including Joseph's brothers, had to come to him if they wanted to buy some food during this 7-year famine that Joseph himself had already predicted would come. And sure enough, in this ironic twist of fate, the brothers had come from Canaan to Joseph to buy food. And our scripture this morning, in chapter 45, is actually the second time that the brothers had come to visit. And as you heard, in this second time, Joseph finally offered his brothers forgiveness and reconciliation. But in doing so, I don't know if you caught this or not, he makes this really big theological statement. He makes this really big personal confession of faith. Speaking to his brothers, he says to them, "So it was not you who sent me here, but God." Now that's why I started this morning by saying God does not cause or condone evil, but instead suffers right along with us in the presence and existence of evil, and somehow mysteriously works within it to bring about healing and reconciliation and new life. Because you see, I just don't think that Joseph means to say that God caused his brothers to throw him into a pit or to sell him into slavery, right? I don't think Joseph means to say that God caused Potiphar's wife to frame him and get him thrown into prison. Instead, I think Joseph means to say that he's come to see, after a great deal of personal wrestling and struggling, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a couple of minutes, that he's come to see that God has suffered right along with him in this whole story, and that God has invited him to turn his very understandable and justifiable thirst for revenge into suffering service instead. For his own sake, for God's sake, for the sake of all those in the world beyond them. Now, of course, all that said, I can't know what was in Joseph's heart. Nobody can. And maybe my interpretation is unnecessarily nuanced, if you will, but I do know that this story has been used by many to say that when evil befalls some people, somehow they had it coming to them for some reason, or even worse yet, that God did make it happen in order to teach them some kind of a lesson. And I just don't think that's what the story means. That leads me to my second big idea. God's justice simply is not tit for tat, and it contains no element of revenge or vengefulness. If it did, you see, Joseph's brothers in this case would have most likely, most probably, spent the rest of their lives at least in an Egyptian jail at the hands of Joseph, their brother, who had every reason in the world and all the power in the world to do so. And while I think Joseph did actually ponder that very idea, he ultimately didn't do that. And the priestly writer of our scripture and the whole story of Genesis wants us to know exactly that. That ultimately, in the end, Joseph did not exact revenge against his brothers. God does not exact revenge. Instead, God suffers in every evil that happens and mysteriously works to bring healing, reconciliation, and new life, without, by the way, any sort of coercion or violence. Which leads me to the third big idea, that forgiveness is both one of the most difficult things that we can ever possibly do, but at the same time, it's also one of the most powerful instruments that God has, right? In order to bring about healing and reconciliation and new life. As I mentioned earlier, our scripture today represents actually the second time that Joseph's brothers came to visit him. But they came the first time to visit him looking for food, and when they did, Joseph did kind of toy with them. He didn't reveal who he was to them, and he did exact a little revenge. He didn't ultimately, but in this first visit, he did throw all of them into jail for 3 days, and then he held them hostage. All of them, or held one of them hostage, while he made the rest of them go back to Canaan to fetch their father Jacob and the youngest brother Benjamin and bring them back to Egypt before he would sell them in food. And during that first visit, if you read it, what I see is that Joseph is wrestling mightily, deeply, with whether he actually wants to harm his brothers or somehow find some way to forgive them. We certainly know that ultimately Joseph did forgive them, but the way the story is told from chapter 45 here to chapter 50 in the book of Genesis reveals that Joseph and his brothers had to keep on working at forgiveness and trustfully along the way. And as they did, God was able then to continue working, bringing about healing and reconciliation and new life. Evil is, don't we know it? Evil is. We know it so well. God suffers with us in the evil and works mysteriously somehow to bring reconciliation and new life out of it. God's justice is not tit for tat and contains no element of revenge or coercion or violence. And forgiveness is one of the most difficult things for us to offer to and one of the most powerful things as well. These are just a few of my particular reflections and wrestlings with this whole story of Joseph. And I hope that they might inspire your deeper wrestling and reflection on some of the toughest things that all of us have to